Hello, everybody. Hello, Gab.
Oh, Fritchie, poor Fritchie. Hello. How are you feeling?
Well, I just cried, so I feel a little better. But just wanted to welcome everyone back and thank everybody for watching us and supporting us so far in this new creative project that we've started. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then, well, this was actually filmed live about a month ago. And if you want to have access to the lives and participate with us and ask us questions about whatever you want, because we/Gab loves questions, and I would love to have him, challenged a little bit and see how he can always manage to, get through tough questions. Anyways, so if you want to have access to the live or the high quality video right after the live, earlier than it is published on YouTube, you can do so by clicking the link just below this video, which is our Patreon, and you could support us that way and have more access to your two favorite humans.
Oh, you're my favorite human.
You're my favorite human.
Oh.
Thank you for putting up with me.
No, it's so easy.
I might cry again.
Oh, no. That's you being vulnerable on camera.
Yes.
Oh.
But you make it easier. What a morning.
Tell us what happened, baby.
Well, nothing crazy happened. It's just, I'd say I'm like a normal human. My mood fluctuates and, depending on my environment and my, I don't know, like how I've been sleeping and, how I've been eating or certain things that, irritate me. Like I'm just a normal human. So there's some things that get to me more than others. And I have a hard time bringing myself out of a funk once I'm in the funk. And, I know it's all about mindset and stuff. And it's like, just like flip the switch and think positively and blah, blah, blah. Like you would say too, like, can't you just be happy? Like, no, it doesn't work like that all the time. I mean, for some people it might, I don't know, but I know that I have a I don't know what you would call it, a hard time like bringing myself out of a mood. And I do know some people who really are better at that than I am. But anyways, so the last couple of days we've been moving around the auberge again, like kind of settling back into the studio space and moving everything here. And our stuff was just like everywhere. And Gab is such a great boyfriend, and he knows that I get really overwhelmed with stuff. If you guys watch our previous episode, we're still talking about stuff. And so he moved everything.
It's a whole season.
It's a whole season about stuff. But the stuff is still kind of everywhere. It's just like all over the place. And I have a hard time. I already have a hard time organizing my stuff, which in turn, makes me have a hard time organizing my brain and my priorities, because I like to live in a clean space, but I just get overwhelmed with things, and it kind of has a ripple effect on like the rest of my day and the rest of my tasks and my routine and everything like that. So, we're kind of living in two spaces right now, because like this space is ours for now, but there are clients that are coming, so we have to leave again, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to leave again. So I have another room, which is great. And last night I was just like, okay, I'm going to go sleep in that room and just stay there. And like my stuff is going to stay there. And so I could like put it away and it could be like in order, so I could wake up with a clear mind and like thinking that would make me feel better. And it did make me feel a little bit better, because knowing that like stuff had its place and I could wake up in the same space, like shower, exercise, there's no clutter anywhere, so that made me feel good.
Did you exercise in the new room?
I did.
Yay.
And it was actually nice because there's a big mirror there. So you know how I like big mirrors. And yesterday I was feeling overwhelmed. That happens to me a lot. I was here all day and I was like working on stuff. I was doing shorts and editing. But that takes a lot of time. It usually takes like a couple of hours, at least like 4 to 5 hours of work. But then there's a whole list of other things that's not like on the Trello board. A Trello is like a tool that we use to organize tasks. But it's like in the back of my head of like, okay, we have like this new kitchen now. So I gotta, make it look super cute and like maybe film it for like content, like reno stuff, But then also like, I gotta cook our food and like we're on this health streak now, or even if we weren't on a health streak, like just cook food anyways for us. And like, I'm in charge of that aspect and like film it too. And, but then, there's like this project that we need to put attention on and this and that and like, there's just so many things that is like kind of on my to-do list that I'm just like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. Like, where do I put my energy so then I don't end up really putting energy in? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go like make my food and take a break. And then I end up watching Netflix for a little bit. And then I'm like, I'm just going to watch it for like a little bit more. And then I'll get back to my work. And then when I get back to my work, I'm like still kind of overwhelmed. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, is this where I should be putting my energy right now? Should I be doing something else? I'm not sure. And then I just feel like a failure at the end of the day. Like I didn't do anything. And then I feel bad. And then I feel bad about myself. And my energy just kind of goes out the window. And then this morning, when I came here, we got into it a little bit again because I woke up feeling better. But then I realized like I lost my ring and I was kind of upset about that because it's like, we're moving and this and that. And that was like, okay, whatever. I'll just like always lose things and I'll just have to live with that in my life. That's fine. And then you could tell my energy was kind of heavy and you're like, I think you're on your phone too much and it's bad for your brain. And then I'm like, no, it's not. And what do you want me to do? Like, if you want me to film content, I have to be on my phone. And if I'm on my phone, then you're going to yell at me. And then I'm going to be like, well, I'm filming content. And then it's going to be like this big thing. And I know that I can be really hard-headed and like defensive and just like closed to ideas and like admitting problems and focusing on solutions. Like I'm a problem-oriented human. I am not a solution-oriented human at all. And like, even when I talk, I hear it in my head. I'm like, oh, like this is so hard to listen to. Like, can't you just be positive and talk about a solution as opposed to always talking about a problem and like jabbing things and never finding solutions? Like, that is one thing about myself that like annoys me because I wish I was different. But then I'm like, well, you could be different. But then I say, well, maybe I don't have to. Maybe that's just who I am. And like, that's okay. I don't know. Anyways, yesterday I did have a moment where I was like, okay, Ali, like you watch too much Netflix. You take like too much downtime watching Netflix. Like, I don't even think my phone necessarily is, I mean, I think it is a little bit of an issue, but Netflix is definitely an issue. And I was like, you know what? You need to like change this narrative a bit and do something different. Like, Netflix detox for like 30 days.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Or you don't watch it at all, or you only watch certain things for like educational purposes. Because yesterday I was saying to myself that I want to start again, like increasing my Spanish, like learning and improving my Spanish. And whenever I learn a language, I always would watch shows on Netflix, like in Italian or in Spanish, like, like good shows, but I would do it like not like the content was second, it was more like for the language immersion that was first. So I was like, I'm going to cut down or like totally cut out like all the other trash that I watch and just use Netflix to watch like Spanish shows because that has a different purpose. I don't know. And like changing little things like that, or for example, when I cook and everything, because I know that there are a lot of missed opportunities throughout the day for me to organize myself to like film content and to like do something productive, as opposed to like just cooking and watching Netflix at the same time, because it's like drugs for me. It's like so relaxing. It's like, oh my God, this is like my downtime right now. I'm like all alone. I'm so comfortable. I'm cooking. I have my shows on. Like I'm enjoying this moment. Like it's very pleasurable for me, but I could also use that time to do other things, like to still cook, but to like, instead of watching Netflix, like either film or music, because I stopped listening to music, especially since I don't work out as much anymore. Like if I'm here, I work out with videos, so I'm not really listening to music as much, which is like my new 2023 playlist, I think has one song on it. Whereas before, back in time, like I'd have every year like a generated playlist with like all these new songs. Like every time I heard one, I'd put it on. And so I'd always be like up to date with new music and cool music. And now I don't, which is so sad, because you know, in Spotify at the end of the year, they have these like things. You know what I got? Such a sad message, guys. I got a pop-up from Spotify being like, you didn't listen to anything long enough this year, so we couldn't generate your like fun end of the year list. And I was like, wow, that's really sad. And I need a tissue. I think there's a box next to you. My nose is running. Anyways, that's why I brought my notebook today, so you can help me make a list.
Oh, I love making lists. So,
any thoughts?
Yeah,
Any
a few thoughts. Let's go with the stuff first.
Oh wait, I had more to say.
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh.
I hate it when people watch me blow my nose.
I can turn around, but there's a camera. And it's rubbing.
Okay. The other thing is that so I started the YouTube channel like 6 months ago, right? And it got like, it gained some momentum, and you're always like, oh my God, like you did that and and like this whole YouTube project is out of my comfort zone because I'm not used to putting myself out there so much. Like I could, but I don't super enjoy the attention. Like I'm someone who's definitely more behind the scenes and who doesn't like to, I don't know, put myself too much out there, have all eyes on me, like questions, attention, this, that. And it's just like, okay, guys, like, I'm here, but I'm not here kind of thing. So I go through many roller coasters of waves of emotion with like how I feel with this project and like my own personal project and everything. Some days I'm like, feel super great about it. I'm very emotional today. I don't know why.
It's okay, baby.
I feel really great about it. Can we edit this part?
We can always edit this part out.
And then other days I feel really bad about it because I don't always feel good about myself. And so it's like, it's hard to keep that momentum high. And I know I'm not the only person like this. I know there are a lot of people online that share, their story and everything. And whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh, they're so great and brave, for doing this, and like, fuck yeah to them. And like, who gives a shit about what other people think? Like, just unapologetically be yourself, and like, who cares if you're just have fun with it and be relaxed. And like, if people like it, people like it. If they don't, they don't. Like, who cares? But I struggle with that a lot because, again, like some days I feel like, oh yeah, like I'm good, I can do this. Like, I'm a pretty cool person. Like, I've got some stuff to share. I've got certain skills that some people might find interesting. And then other days I'm just like, no, like, you're, I don't know, you will get boring very quickly because I'm not a very like multi depth leveled human. Like, I don't know. And with like the kind of content that I was producing, it's, a lot of it was about sex. So like most of the followers are like 90% male, which is fine at first. I remember one of my friends was like, "Ali, you got to respect your audience. Like, respect your audience regardless of where they come from. Like, they watch you, they like you. Don't hate on them, even though some of them hate on me, but whatever. We love the haters too." And yeah, so like there are other people that always like celebrate that accomplishment for me. Like, wow, you have like, you got 12,000 subscribers in like 6 months. Like, that's crazy, And sometimes like it just, I don't know. I don't celebrate it. I don't feel like it's that worthy because it's like, it is about sex and like sex sells and it's easy stuff. And I don't know. Anyways, there's just like stuff with that too. So that being said, I'm just trying to find a new voice, or not find a new voice. Like, I have my own voice, but just like learn how to be more like vocal, assertive, confident, and like putting myself out there, being like, this is me and whatever.
That was beautiful, baby. You did it so well. That was a first for you, being so vulnerable on camera.
Yes.
Oh, you did so good. Well,
it's been a morning, guys, and poor Gab has to deal with my fluctuation of emotions every day.
Well, they didn't fluctuate that much in the last days. It was pretty down all the time. Well, if like you brushed a few topics, and if I can be a traditional male and put on my Mr. Solution
Are
cap,
you gonna mansplain me?
I will mansplain you. Je vais t'expliquer comment ça marche, cette fille. So,
wait, my blowing nose might be too loud. Hold on.
nah, it's fine. You're not next to
I just did the most vulnerable thing on camera, which is blowing my nose because I'd hate it when you watch me do it.
And I watched and the entire world. Oh my god. So for the stuff, I agree that it's kind of frustrating when you arrive to brush your teeth and you don't have your toothbrush, which leads me to believe that for the next month, we should live like we are living when we're traveling. You should pack a bag and leave with that bag.
Yeah, because I have no trouble being a nomad in the world, but at home it's weird. It's different.
Yeah, but why don't you try what I'm explaining to you right now?
Okay, I'll get my notebook.
So, which is pack a bag, then move here, and then we'll move somewhere, and then we'll move back here, and then we'll move back somewhere. We're slowly like taking over the space. So, but like we had bookings to honor. But the problem comes with the fact that you have piles of stuff like at different locations, which you shouldn't have. You should pack a bag, a winter bag, and move here. And then pack the same bags and move out of here. Then that's it. So everything should be in your bag. Pack a little bag. You're going on a vacation in the hotel. Do you think that's
I'm willing to try.
Yay! Then all your stuff will be here with you and me. Because you went away last night.
Oh, and you fell asleep without your machine.
Yes. So that's about the stuff. About like, yeah, I do think that like you have too much screen time. Everybody has too much screen time. I have too much screen time, but you're like just next level. Sometimes I leave for 5 hours. I come back, you're on your screen where I left you. I just went like a whole adventure. So that's too much screen time. And if you had less screen time, you would have more creative /sports /cooking. I mean, when you, for example, records like stuff, you don't look at your screen. You look at what you're doing. You look at your hands. You look at the world. You're putting the kitchen together. That's productive and fun and active. And like, plus most of the things that you do on the screen is things that I want to teach our team to do. And then you're like a wild, like electron outside the atom. Like, I'm doing stuff over here, but I won't participate in any of your boring shows. So I do think like less screen time. But then, like, let's say you want to cook and it's your drug and you love that time, then just like cook in Netflix, no problem there. You know, that's like, but then when you go to bed, then you watch Netflix for 3 hours and you fall asleep at 1 and then you wake up, you're like, "Argh!"
But it's not just cooking Netflix, because then it's eating Netflix. And then it's like, I'm done eating, but like, I'm going to watch a little bit more before I get back.
Yeah, plus it's Netflix and phone.
Yes.
So like, plus on your phone, there are notifications. So the screen light up. So it even bothers me. Like, it's not even my phone. But I do think like too much screen time, and then it gets you in a bad mood, because it gets everyone in a bad mood, because like our brain wasn't made to watch a screen all day. So part of the reason why I started doing this thing was because I was on my computer all day long and I wasn't productive that much, because I was kind of one tab being productive and 9 tabs not really being productive. So I was like going back to my productive tab from time to time, but it was context switching, and then I broke my brain. Like in 2017, I couldn't concentrate for more than 3 minutes on a complicated thing anymore, which is like my strength normally, that I can just be focused for 12 hours and learn something. And so I saw that I broke my brain kind of, and that's where I was like, maybe if instead of like chatting with the team, I would be live at some point during the day, every day. They could ask me all the questions that they want. Like, I'll be live for 3 hours if I have to, but I answer the question and I'll record the answer. But it's going to be recorded for sure. And then that's it. Like, I'll be there tomorrow morning, so my phone should lit up about business for emergencies only. And so I think that you should embrace this process that we're doing here as a way to reduce screen time, kind of. I also think that like your value is to create content. People like to see you on YouTube. You have 12,000 people. That's like half a Bell Center. Like more than half. And they want to watch you on YouTube, which proves that, like, there you go. Like, you're a lovable character. So you should produce what that is, and then just like dump it on a Google Drive folder, and then the team and I will process that into like content for your channel. And then, who knows? Like, because, grâce à toi, because of you.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to you, yeah. So thanks to you, maybe we'll have a nice life where we have like steady passive income coming in every month, and then we can travel and not ever care about money again.
That would be so nice.
Yes, it would. Let's achieve that, baby. And I think that covers everything, but you're so nice, and you're so now vulnerable on camera. Oh, I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Yay. Really? It didn't feel like it for the last 2 days. Hello, Pritchie.
Yeah, but I always tell you when I'm in a mood like that, it's never against you. It's because I'm feeling something towards myself. And I feel like that's a thing with a lot of people who like show anger and frustration towards like other people, who take it out on other people. It's usually because it's coming within somewhere. And they just project. That's the word I was looking for. They just project on other people, and it's like really from inside. I know that's the case with me. And then I get mad at myself because I'm like, I'm not nice. and it shows, and like, you know, you see me and you're like, who's this woman? Like, I don't recognize her.
Well, this is not so fun.
But you love me anyways,
I
right?
do. But I'm a yellow as well. I need fun.
I take away the fun sometimes.
Just very rarely. Okay. But then you were like, start the camera. I need my camera therapy, kind of.
Well, that, I must say that was pretty therapeutic.
There you go.
That was also one of the goals of this project for me, like starting a YouTube channel, was to learn how to be more communicative, because I am someone who can be quite introverted, and I avoid. I have an avoidant attachment style, so I don't talk to people. I just keep everything in, and I avoid conflict, emotions, situations, everything as possible as I can. And I retreat and I do things on my own. That's why when you were talking before about like, oh, you're like here, you know, away from the team, like working on stuff by yourself where like everyone else is doing things, like that is me to a T, because I don't know, it seems easier for me, but maybe I'm just being harder on myself in the end. Like I'm limiting myself. And so I was like, okay, you know what? This is a great project for me to just like go out there, learn how to talk, because I've always had trouble expressing myself with words verbally anyways. And it's just great practice, and I know with time it'll transform me in some way. And I'm kind of like, I'm in that process right now. So this was nice, like to talk about something more vulnerable on camera.
I'm proud of you, baby.
Thank you.
You did so good. And it was, it was kind of therapy. Because, like, it's hard for me to like, know what to say. Then I can see that I'm, like, always finding solutions.
Dr. Gab.
I'll find a solution. Oh, my God. But everything will be okay, baby.
Well, yes, you are a very solutions-oriented person, and but you've learned with time too how to deal with emotions more, you know, and you've been like that with me and with others, and you know, and trying to steer too much away from the solutions and just kind of sitting in the emotion.
You're allowed to feel the way you feel.
What else did I teach you?
Your emotions are valid.
Oh. These are like key sentences that I've plugged into his brain.
Yeah. Well, I see you do it anyway. I would have noticed. I see you doing it to other people. It's always like you play the cassette, like, oh, like your emotions are really valid. You know, you're allowed to feel the way you feel. I'm like, really? That didn't seem so much valid.
Yes, but then they feel better, no?
They seem to feel better, yeah. So I was like, this is useful. And so, then you wrote me a little book.
Yeah, so when Gab and I first started dating, as you might have noticed by now, like we're very different in terms of emotions, and he's, in terms of like attachment style too, he's a very secure human, and I'm an avoider, and you know, they're different. We can get into attachment theory like in another episode. But Gab deals with emotions in a different way than most humans that I've met before. You have a very low neuroses level.
I don't have that many of those. That thing too. Like I'm just like it's pretty like, oh, this was fun. Oh, this was fun. Oh, this wasn't so fun. You know,
you're a pretty stable human.
Yeah,
emotion wise.
Yeah.
And so when we started dating, and I would be like going through these waves of emotions, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, where like some days you're just feeling kind of like anxious and insecure, and like everything kind of bothers you, and like what wouldn't bother you on a regular day, like really bothers you on this kind of day. And you would always be in like solution mode all the time. And I would say like, I don't need a solution. Like, I just need you to hug me and love me and like, tell me I'm like, this is normal and it's okay. And, you know? So in my old profession, when I was working with kids with autism, we use social stories a lot to help deal with many different kinds of situations. Social stories are like very simple, constructed stories that take the perspective of the child or the person and, you know, put them in a story to help them explain some kind of situation. And it can range from like how to deal with certain emotions, going to the dentist, like all these different kinds of situations that you wanted to help put them in. We would use social stories to help them. So for example, like, I'll give an example of the emotions. So if you're trying to help someone cope with dealing with big emotions, how do you do that? So let's say I'm going to make up, well, I'll say my name. So, you know, every page would have a picture and one simple sentence for the story. So it would have a picture of me and say, "Hi, my name's Allie. I'm a nice girl." And then you turn the page and say like, "Usually I'm really happy. When I'm happy, I play with my toys. I like to dance." So you start naming behaviors that you can see. And, you know, the next page would be, "Sometimes I have big emotions. When I have big emotions, like I cry, I flap my hands, you know," you start naming the kind of behaviors that you see when you're not feeling so great. "When I have these big emotions, I can squeeze my hands together." So, you know, you give different strategies to help cope with the emotion. And as you read the story to whoever, you practice these things at the same time. So, you know, like, okay, like, let's squeeze our hands together now. We squeeze our hands. Okay, we count to 10. Let's count to 10. And this is a story you would read multiple times a day even. So it could be like as many times in the day as, you know, the person can handle. And then, you know, when an actual real life situation comes up, you know, you re-say these words, the story, you remind them, you do the actions, and it kind of, well, anyways, it's a very effective tool. I used it a lot in my, when I used to work with kids. So I thought it would be cute and funny to make you a story because you're a little bit special needs too.
Yes.
And you're also a great explicit learner. So
yeah, I can apply a recipe like
yes.
to a problem. Like, oh, I know what to do. Like step 1, your emotions are valid.
Yeah, so I made you a story, and it was so funny because it was the exact kind of way I would have made a story for like a 5-year-old kid, you know, like, "Hi, my name's Gab," and I like a big picture of you, like your it's up in the air. And you're like, "I have a beautiful girlfriend, and her name's Allie." And like, sometimes Allie feels sad. And when she's sad, sometimes she cries. Sometimes she like shrugs her shoulders. Sometimes she stays in bed or whatever. And like, how can I make Allie feel better? And say, I can make Allie feel better by telling her I love her, by telling her everything's going to be okay, by telling her your emotions are valid. And I like plugged in all these sentences for him. And I remember at some point it kind of backfired a little bit because you loved the book. It was so funny and cute and it stuck with you. But then as time went on and I was in a situation where I needed some kind of emotional support, you would say those things back to me. And I remember being like, "You're only saying those things because I told you to, not because you actually mean them." I almost felt worse. And he was like, "I don't know what to do."
Going back to my book, like, this is not in the book.
What happens when the book fails?
Where's the second version of the book? The updated version.
Anyways, so that's that. But I must say that you are a great emotional support. And yes, like you do go into solution mode. Not like sometimes, not always, but you kind of mix both together now. You're like, okay, your emotions are valid. You're great. Everything's going to be okay. Now, solutions. Like,
well, I started doing something like even more evolved than that. I tell you, like, everything will be okay. Your emotions are valid. And then I'm like taking notes and texting the team. Like, we go to Montreal. You have to fix this list of stuff before we come back. And then you're like, who are you texting? No one. I'm just like shutting up about the solution, but actually fixing the problem behind the scene.
Yeah, because our personalities are different too, in terms of the reds and the greens. And I don't know if we've talked about that in an episode yet, the personality types.
I don't remember.
But anyway, so the four colors, red, green, blue, and yellow, they're part of the disc profile. It's like a personality profile. And Gab's a red, I'm a green. Greens are very passive people, very relational humans, very lovable. There's all these traits. And reds are usually like big, strong, like CEOs, like get you done, just like no time to waste, like they're task oriented. And in the book that we read, Surrounded by Idiots, which is a great book, by the way, I should link it into the description below. They say, to help a green deal with stress is do nothing. So they're like, send the green on like tell them to go to the movies, or like send them on a trip,
Even
or like
better,
just tell them to stay home and
home.
do absolutely nothing. Like if you really want to help them deal with like stress and cope with emotions and stuff, that's what they need. They need to kind of be alone. They just need to do nothing. And I feel like you apply that quite often now. Do nothing.
Yeah, go there, like do nothing, sit in the middle of your stuff. But I feel that, I have like a threshold, because I'm kind of like, also when I read that book, I was like, all right, I can apply that book, but I feel like this is really one-sided towards like not the red solution. Like, but
book?
This is like also in men come from Mars, women come from Venus, that men will put like a solution cap and they should just like shut up and blah, blah, blah. And, but I was like, all right, if this works, I'm down to apply it, but there's a limit. My limit is about like 24 to 48 hours. After that, I'm like, I don't care about any fucking books. I just come alive like, ah! And that was this morning.
Yes.
Oh. But that's an interesting solution. If it's a solution, but we just like started the cameras, sat down and recorded. And
I feel better now.
Yeah. Like it's like we talked to, I don't know how many people. It depends.
2.
Well, it depends on which profile we publish the stuff.
Yes.
You have 12,000. But that was great, baby. And
yeah,
I think
thank
that,
you. I needed that.
I think that we are getting towards happiness.
Yeah, I just have to actually like implement these steps forward,
Well, now you will make us a list of
Yes.
things that you need to, because you need to remove screen time and increase, filming time. You said that.
Yeah. Those words came out of my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is not me. But I agree with those words. And so let's get you off your computer as much as possible. And when you need your little Netflix dose, and just get it.
It should be a reward, like you do. Like
Yeah.
you've turned your weed and your what else? Alcohol, coffee into a reward.
Yeah.
That's what I need to turn that into.
Yeah, like my addictions. I just stacked a bunch of habits in front of my addiction to make sure that my addiction is like being turned into something productive. And then, like, it's just coffee and weed. That's it. And
Me, it's trashy reality TV.
that's all right.
That is an addiction. There are a lot of people addicted to it.
There's also
Netflix in general.
well, there's an app, and they have like Chrome's extension and desktop stuff that you program it beforehand, and then your phone and or computer shuts off at the predetermined or only has a limited set of apps that you can use, or just the internet dies or something like that. Like you could consider those things if you are not able to manage yourself.
Yeah, but I can still have the power to go in and change those apps.
Not if I set it up.
Well, that's different. Because that reminds me of like, you know, I used to bite my nails. I still kind of bite my nails now. But when I was younger, I had no nails. I was a chronic nail biter. And I would put on that like nail polish thing. It's like a clear nail polish that tastes really bad. So it's a technique to try and get you to stop biting your nails. But I just like bit through the nails. It's like
Tastes bad now.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know. Reminds me of that kind of when you implement things to help yourself, but there's just, yeah, I don't know. And then you just, like you have the power to also take it away. So that's tough.
Yeah, but like when we're talking about technological solution, we have the real power. I could not even set it up. I would have David set it up, and then
so you wouldn't even know.
And I would tell him like it's your job to never answer me or Ali asking you to take it off. Don't believe the message and don't take it off.
And then I'll be like, David, do you want me to make you food or not?
You would buy him to get to watch
I would bribe him with food.
Trashy Netflix show. Like I would probably, then he'd be conflicted. He'd be like, I don't know what to apply here. I want to tell her the great food, but also my job is really important to me. Well, let's give people a follow-up in a few days or weeks.
Okay.
But I think that we'll be seeing new Olives and Orgasms content pretty soon. That I'm excited about.
Okay. I just put it on camera, so now I'm being held accountable. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yes. Thanks.